I bought a BMW M4 at CarMax, and today it actually goes in for service for the second time. And I've only owned the car 68 days. I would love to say that CarMax sold me the perfect car without any issues, but that simply hasn't been the case. I've also learned some very interesting things about MaxCare, which is CarMax's bumper-to-bumper warranty. You see, MaxCare doesn't technically take effect until the first 90 days of ownership are over.
You know, I started parking on a flat surface, right, completely, just because of this issue, just to be safe. I mean, once it's in park, it's pretty okay, but still. And so we have a driveway that's similar to that. It's probably about that much of an incline, but it's not stopping the car on the incline.
So that's actually one of the issues that is covered, though, under this 90 days before MaxCare kicks in. Until you reach that 90 days or 4,000 miles, though, you're in this weird in-between period where you technically have a $0 deductible CarMax warranty, but your MaxCare isn't active. And this 90-day period means you have to get your work completed at a CarMax location. Now, you could technically go to an independent service center or, you know, like BMW or the dealership, but you're gonna have to pay for that in the first 90 days.
I would assume for a Toyota or a Nissan or a Lexus, that's not that big of a deal. You're not gonna have a repair in the first 90 days. BMWs? Have you ever owned a BMW that didn't have to go into the shop within 90 days of ownership?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
The issue is that the communication on the service side of things at CarMax hasn't been great. When I purchased the car, I was told that I could get the front valences under the front bumper replaced. They were beaten up, they always get scratched, but you know, hey, it's worth asking to see if you can get it, and they said yes. So I went ahead, scheduled the service for that, they ordered the parts, and the parts were on back order. That's not a big deal per se, but it would have been nice to have gotten a phone call before I drove all the way over there, went to drop the car off and was told, hey, we can work on the parking brake issue, but we can't work on the front valences because the parts aren't here. I would have loved to have knocked those out in one trip instead of having to make multiple trips and all of that stuff. It would have been much, much better. There's nothing we can do about back order parts, but a little communication would have been nice. So, what about the parking brake issue? You see, on a hill, it just doesn't hold. Pull the parking brake up in our driveway, which is quite a steep hill, pull the parking brake, and nothing happened. I honestly tried to get it to work. I pulled it aggressively hard, and it still rolls back. You can hear it trying to catch, but it's just not catching. Now, one of the benefits of the 90-day, 4,000-mile warranty that CarMax has before MaxCare kicks in is things like a parking brake are covered, right? That is one of the benefits, and that's why technically the warranty doesn't take effect until after 90 days. I suppose I'm just weird in that I would rather pay for something like a parking brake and be able to take it to a mechanic I trust and like, rather than having to use CarMax for service. Now, they adjusted the parking brake. I got home and it still wasn't perfect, and today, as we're doing this service, they are checking it out again. They were afraid they might over-adjust it and make it too close, so I don't know. I have heard parking brakes on these BMWs are just bad, so at the end of the day, there's not much we can do with that, and one of the things that I like about my own mechanic is that I can go in and actually kind of see things, test things, and stuff like that as it's being worked on and being fixed, and we can see, okay, well, this is just bad, or maybe the parking brake just needs to be replaced, or something like that. But it's not completely out of the cards that BMW parking brakes are just weak and kind of bad. So the parking brake was one of the issues that the M4 had today, but it wasn't the only issue. The other issue that it went in for today was a blown speaker, and a very badly blown speaker in the front center kind of engine of the car, if you will. It was the most annoying blown speaker I've ever dealt with because of how BMW handles the entire process of pumping noise, engine noise, into the car through the speakers. Because of that, it needed to get replaced, and luckily CarMax is covering that 100% under the warranty. However, I can't help but wonder why this wasn't picked up by CarMax in the kind of purchase, setup, inspection process.
We got all of those parts installed that we had here. So on your braking issue, he wants to replace the parking brake shoe and the liner, and your rear rotors. Now, those items are hard to come by right now. The rear rotors are, so we're pushed out about a week and a half on those coming in. 8:30 a.m., I'll get your paperwork ready for you, and you can come pick it up.
Alrighty, sounds good, thank you. Another trip to CarMax for service. Now, so far, all of the issues that I've talked about with CarMax have kind of been with service. But as far as the purchase process goes, it was very smooth. We did the 24-hour test drive, got the car, drove for 24 hours, drove a crap out over 24 hours, brought it back, and then we were good to go. Overall, the sales experience at CarMax was absolutely incredible. The purchase process was so good, in fact, that I will be buying another car at CarMax. Overall, service hasn't been horrible. It's just felt like I've gotten a bit of a runaround. However, I do want to mention that the people that I've talked to in service, everyone has been great, knowledgeable, helpful, and worked as hard as they could to get situations rectified. There's nothing they can do about supply chain issues, and I do understand that. I just wish that I could go and take the car who I want to within the first 90 days. And you can't. You have to take it to CarMax in order to get things taken care of in that first 90 days or 4,000 miles. After that, you can go where you want. And I'm looking forward to that. I also do wonder about the check-in and inspection process at CarMax when a car is picked up, simply because a blown speaker, which should now be fixed, in my opinion, should have been caught in testing if CarMax does the extensive testing that they say they do their cars. The same thing for a weak parking brake. I feel like that should have been caught, and it wasn't. And even update the car's software and software system, because the other day I just went and sat down in this car and the gauge cluster just didn't work. The M logo there didn't appear, none of the numbers appeared, and most importantly, the RPMs didn't tick up. A software update fixes that, and luckily it does usually work itself out after a few restarts of the car and stuff, but a software update fixes it 100%, and it's something that wasn't done when CarMax purchased the car. When I started having to deal with the service department, because it's an M car, that's when things started having issues. I was prepared to work this out with European Auto Garage and really test CarMax's warranty. Again though, at European Auto Garage and at BMW. I wasn't as prepared to work through them at CarMax. Overall, the experience has been pretty good with service, and I feel like it has gotten better over time, be it my first experience with their service center, where the parts weren't even there and things like that, being much worse than the experience I had today, which is a fixed speaker and parking brake issue parts on order to finally get the parking brake fixed. I didn't check the front surveillance. Actually, I forgot about it. So let's check that real fast. It looks like they did. Wow. We have new front valences under the car. Looking good. So now I can destroy those myself instead of having the ones the previous owner of the car destroyed. I would rather work through these issues myself and kind of get things done, or I would like service to get done and be able to use the warranty that I paid for right away. I don't know. I'm probably weird here, but overall the purchase experience at CarMax was really good. But what I really wish had happened is that it had been disclosed to me during the sales process that I couldn't service the car and use the warranty anywhere until 90 days. That was only mentioned in the fine print, and sure, I should have read it more closely, but to me, I was buying the warranty, and the warranty was explained, but it wasn't explained that 90 days until I could take the car wherever I wanted to get it serviced. However, I think once I can start using my mechanic for repairs, the whole entire MaxCare process is gonna go a lot more smoothly. And you should subscribe so you see more videos on the BMW M4. Just know that if you do buy a car from CarMax in the first 90 days, you have to get the work done at CarMax in order to get any warranted repairs. So from here on out, let's hope the service on the M4 and the upkeep cost goes as smoothly as the service has on our Aston Martin. Check out this video to see why you should buy an Aston Martin as your first exotic.